Is she using that new greatsword?
Yep, I got it.
Oh yeah. You're gonna be swinging it around.
It's a possibility.
Oh shit.
Depends on what we're fighting. Because I got to remember, I got to take a -2 to my AC if I start using it.
Yeah, but if you have a typing in front of you, it should be fine.
If I put the Zoom app on my phone, could I use the camera?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and the app's free. It's not free for one person. Basically pays and allows for everybody else who's in the meeting to gain all the benefits therein. It's like Roll20.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's not very expensive or anything.
It's not streaming yet. It stopped.
Yeah, it's there it goes. Okay. All right, cool. So, still see my bookmarks bar. Fixed it. Okay, cool. So, this group of adventurers on the 9th day of Ryan, the 3rd month of spring, volunteered to attend with Farron in an attempt to enter into the world of dreams and find the sleeper where it resides. I'm going to go ahead and state that one more time. This group of individuals, you 5, are volunteering to enter into a sort of seance and enter into the dream world to fight the sleeper where it lives.
No, I didn't.
So Farron is going to train us how to do that. Do we get a sense of what that means? Do we still have all of our abilities?
So you'll be entering into the dream world, and so what he tells you is when an elf trances into another plane like this, basically what they are doing is they're just allowing their consciousness to enter into that place. Their image of themselves is maintained. Basically their physical form is effectively duplicated in that other place. When Aramil takes a rest and trances, he isn't just sitting there like thinking about stuff. He's effectively re-entering the Shazas, the Feywild, and re-energizing himself in that place.
So we have access to all of our abilities and weapons and all that stuff, and all our magic items.
Farron says that's true, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And so
Can you say anything about us being able to, I guess, affect anything with our own will?
So like he said, you'll basically act as independently as you are at current. Like you will be you. You will affect the world that you enter into as you would normally.
Yep.
So we die in dream state. We die for
Joe
real.
Orbic. That's a thing.
If you die in the Matrix.
If you die in the Matrix, you die in the real world. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. So in the dream, I can't have 2 arms.
I can see you, Joe, but it's frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, but it looks like it's working. Go ahead and kill the meeting on your computer and just leave the one on your phone. Let's see. Okay, so Farron basically gets up a group circle and starts the preparation. Like I said, unlike regular elves, you won't be able to just trance. The only person in this group that will be able to just settle into a trance automatically is Aramil. The rest of you need 8 hours of downtime, effectively a long rest, before you can commit to a 4-hour-long trance state to enter into that higher plane. And Farron will basically go over the ritual with you all. Now, there was mention that you guys went around the camp talking to elves to try and learn a little bit more about it as well. Maluriel confides in you that she's a bit worried about this idea, but she doesn't think it's a problem, especially if you have a circle of dreams druid, such as Farron, leading you into the world of dreams. And then she says, the other person you asked is Andruxel. She says that she does not want to enter into the dream world because she knows that her own pocket dream is. If she enters into another one, she'll basically lose the ability to enter into her own pocket dream that her enclave is in, her elf group is in. That said, she's not willing. As you're talking around, though, are there any other elves or drow that you might think about inviting?
Yeah.
Who?
What about Maluriel?
Yeah, her.
I just said Maluriel's not interested in going, and because she has people to take care of.
She thinks it's a bad idea.
Also, she's still doing hospital work for the people who just got smashed by the Guardian.
Noises.
Sorry, you said besides her and Drexel, right?
Yeah, is there anybody else that you'd be interested in talking to, elf-wise? Are there any other elves that you can think of that are in NPC status?
I don't even know who all the NPCs are.
Oh man,
It's kind of weird.
I gotta.
Get something to hold it.
Yes.
Go grab the the coaster holder in the front room. Just take the coasters out and put it in there,
You're a coaster holder.
or whatever you're doing right now. That seems to be working. Anywho, anyway, any other else that you can think about off the top of your head?
I think there's any other elves with us.
Can anybody think of any other elves or things that are in essence elf, but may not look like that now at current?
Yulia.
It's a good
They
option.
do not look like that now. Who'd you say?
Yulia.
Lilia.
Little robot girl.
It's a thought. It's up to you.
What about that fey creature?
Corcheus. It's not just hanging around camp. It's not just sitting around. And in actuality, yeah, we're not even sure that it really exists. It might have just been an illusion.
What about that woodland species that doesn't burn, but looks like it's made of wood?
That's played by a Canadian, and it looks like we're anti-Canadian this evening.
I got nobody then.
Nope, I can't think of anybody. Bowden is not an elf, right?
Who? Bowden? No, he's not. He's a human.
Well, not Lilithos.
Yeah, okay, great. So, does anybody want to approach Celia or no?
I don't think Caramel's ever met her.
Okay. Yeah, nobody's really terribly fond of her except for Uru, the half-orc barbarian. But, yeah, nobody's really talked to her. So it probably wouldn't be something you'd think about approaching her for. All right, well, that's fine. Farron begins the ritual. And just to make sure I have it right, one last time here. Everybody is on board and sits in the seance, does the holy handies, and, inhales the weird smoke coming from the fire pit. All that good shit, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Seems like you're deterring us, especially with the smirk that's on your face right now.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I
when
mean,
it's
this is the
coming.
big bad of the thing, right?
When he's asking you 2 or 3 times.
Have you ever played?
Yeah.
Have you ever played Zelda Breath of the Wild?
No.
Okay. Well, basically, there is an option for you to, once you walk out of the cave, just straight bolt towards the Ganon's castle and fight Ganon with your 3 heart pieces and still try and beat him. In my opinion, it's very similar to what you're kind of doing right now.
So you're saying that we're not leveled up enough to
We'll
do
see
that.
how it goes. So I got no nose, so that means the ritual
Wow.
completes. And you start to feel yourself elevate out of your own bodies.
How do we pull ourselves out of the ritual once it started? Like if we want to make a hasty retreat.
Well, Farron's not coming with us. I'm sure you can keep an eye on him.
Farron is coming with you, he says.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that works.
you are under the assumption that he is coming with you. Farron tells you that you can just wake up from it like it were a dream. It shouldn't be a problem. But again, it depends on who is there and what happens when you're there, but you should be able to just wake from it like a dream, or there should be a very obvious means of exiting the dream world. That said, as the ritual completes and you feel yourself ascending up out of your own bodies and you can see everything in an ethereal form, the thing that you notice most is that behind Farron is a shadow form with 9 red eyes glowing and tentacles dancing about Farron's body. And on Farron's brow is a bright pink purple glyph, which has been mentioned a couple of times.
Oh shit, that's right. He's
but
possessed,
you
right?
still
He's
trusted
cursed.
him to send you into the dream world. And then everything goes black for each and
Okay.
every single one of you.
God damn it.
Shit.
We're so stupid.
Chad, why'd you trick me into this?
What's our safe word, guys?
Pineapple juice.
Done.
Hold on a
That is
second.
gonna get
Boy.
weird.
Please use lube.
Hold on, I gotta
Yeah.
take a phone call.
Have at it. I'm going to do everybody or not simultaneously. We're going to do them separate, so no worries. I'll start with someone
Orgy.
else.
Oh Jesus, this is like a Twilight Zone episode.
I'll start with Aramil. Aramil, you enter into some place, some strange place, completely black. Sky is black, ground is black, but the ground seems to ripple like water at your feet. As you stare ahead, kind of look at the water, you see a form kind of rising up out of the water. Strange, really. A form that, after just a couple of moments, becomes very familiar to you. He wears a blue cloak. He's got an old, rugged face to him. He looks very familiar. Last time you saw him, he gave you a hint about a really interesting treasure back in Stormloft. The man that rises before you is none other than Jeremiah Gant.
Okay.
He kind of looks over at you and goes, What's happening? Aramil? I thought you were dead.
Is this like the other side in Stranger Things?
Effectively, it's not like the Upside Down, no. It's more like the, vision-wise, just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. It's more like the, when 11 goes into like a containment, like a sensory deprivation tank, and it's like all black and so you can see stuff. It's more like that. It's not like the Upside Down. Stuff's not like peeling away. It's that weird in-between that 11 can go to.
You should know better than that. I don't die that easy.
Yeah, but I was sure that they would kill you. Because that's what they wanted you for. They let you live?
No, they tried.
Oh, I know they did. They told me they would. Right before they gave me the coin. How'd you find me here?
Treachery?
Yeah, you really think I was
Treachery.
going to give you such a good lead? I mean, we were friends and all, but geez. That was a lot of coin for that trinket. And now you're palling around with the enemy? Running around with Patrick? Is that what it is?
It doesn't sound like I need any lessons on treachery from you.
Roll an inside check. Okay.
Very insightful.
No. He kind of steps forward a bit. The water doesn't seem to ripple as he moves through it, though. And he says, Well, you're alive now, but you probably won't be alive for very long. Gutter elves never were ones to stay alive.
I find quite the opposite. All the more reason for me to stay alive.
He smirks,
Taught me quite a few things.
and he kind of laughs. Telling by your face, you've seen quite a show of trouble. Who did that to you?
You were there. I'm sure you remember.
No,
If you're real.
I wasn't there. I left before you went and got yourself in trouble. The trouble I knew you were going to get into because I set you up to get into.
Oh. I think you know the answer. Stop
Fellow.
wasting my time.
Fellhoods, huh? All right. Well, I'm I'm sorry.
Space Ghost first Space Ghost.
I know. It's crazy. He says, he kind of looks at you and he kind of says, it's fine. Never liked you anyway, kid. And then he kind of just dissolves and dissipates and disappears.
I knew you weren't real. Bye, Felicia.
You feel this very strange sense of cold. And then you kind of feel this weird liquid kind of pouring down your face and pain kind of swelling on your face. As you kind of feel the scars opening up, you look down at the black, but you can see a reflection of yourself, perfect, despite the ripples, looking straight back up at you. And you remember exactly who that elf was. It was the elf who got pummeled and beaten near death back in a holding cell in Stormloft.
That's who I see in the reflection?
Mm-hmm.
I'm all fucked up.
Yep. Make a wisdom saving throw. Okay. As you kind of stare into it, you kind of feel yourself kind of like... It's almost like you feel like you're in that place. Everything else seems to kind of be forgotten. You feel like you're just being left for dead in that cell, just like it was way back when. But as you kind of feel like that feeling of pain and agony kind of swell up over you, you remember what drove you past that point. And there was something to live for. It was that money, that wealth from that treasure you hid. And you kind of start to pull yourself up. We'll get back to you in a second.
Okay.
All right. Chi, similar scenario, completely black, water rippling at your feet. As you kind of stand there and kind of look about, you get this strange sense of heat kind of rising up from the ground. And you start to see these golden streaks of light coming down from the sky. It looks like at their distance, like you didn't know, you kind of felt like you were enclosed and like very claustrophobic, but it seems like the sky goes on for eternity, and you can see these golden streaks descending down from the heavens. Looks like they're going to slam into what you would propose is the earth, where you're currently standing in what is level to you, some hundreds and hundreds of feet up ahead. What do you do?
Make sure none of them hit me.
Again, quite some distance ahead of you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll start walking toward them.
Okay. You see them as you kind of, approach, kind of hit the ground, but they don't hit like they would hit water. They hit like they would hit stone, and you can see blackened shards flying out from them. During the end of their descent, you saw the two streaks kind of form a helix as they kind of descended down and hit the ground. And as you approach to what your eyes can discern as a crater in the liquid, very strange indeed. It seems like the floor is actually taking and manifesting two types of ground. To you, it looks like everything is water, but the water seems to have taken form, and that form seems to be a rubble crater. Inside of it, you see two naked bodies, one with golden skin and one with silver skin. The silver skin that's about its body appears to be very similar in styling to your left arm, in that it kind of has line ridges through it and kind of a very ornate chrome look to it. And as they lie there, the golden one kind of gets up and seems to be pulling something out of the silver one's chest. Once it stands, you can see that it has a sword in its hand. On its back, it looks like there are ripped wings on it, also on the silver one. Both appear to be angelic in nature. The golden one, turns and looks over its shoulder at you, or through you, even.
Who are you?
Who am I? Who are you? You don't even know. And as he says that, his wings kind of sprout with golden energy. The residual, like, physical wings are still kind of bleeding from what you can see. But out from the stumps, this radiance kind of just emanates up, and it rises up out of the crater, kind of out in front of you. You don't even know what it is to be. And you ask me what I am?
So your kind forsakes me to haunt me in my dream?
Make a wisdom saving throw as you kind of meddle against it. It sounds like you're kind of grinding yourself down mentally. As you kind of say that, and like, you feel a bit of courage kind of rise up from you, you feel this kind of wash of radiance like blare over you, and you see the wings kind of rip into tendrils and snap down and kind of grab you around your person. As the golden form kind of leans in, you can see that its eyes, for just a second, kind of spark into 9 red rubies, and then shatter back into the golden flaring eyes that are staring into you. And it says, "I am what you were. I am what you could be. You who have fallen. You who have fallen because of your hubris. You who have fallen because of your arrogance. I am you at your purest." And you just feel like everything's sinking and everything goes black. We'll go back to you in a minute. Shadow. You're standing in a black field and water is kind of about you. But for you, you have this strange sensation, like there's something right there, like right in front of you, and you're not sure what it is. Your curiosity is piqued.
Is it a fish?
No, doesn't seem like it's a fish. It's actually above the water. There's something like there. Like, you know how like if someone's in the room and you know they're there, but you don't know right where they're at? There's kind of a feeling that there's something or someone like right in front of you.
I would definitely like be drawn to that and try to figure out what it is. And
Okay. As you approach, you get this strange feeling in your mouth. Make a wisdom saving throw. You reach up to your mouth and kind of like reach in, and you just get this weird pain in your tooth. And as you kind of touch it, you pull out your incisor, and it just kind of crumbles into like fragments in your fingertips. And you start to feel your other teeth coming up out of their gums and falling out. All the while, you can feel underneath the gloves of thievery the feeling of your nails, your claws coming up and out and coming off of your fingertips.
I'm becoming a little bit more feral.
Uh-huh. It just feels like, it feels like, have you ever had the dream where your teeth are crumbling in your mouth?
No.
In real life? Okay, never mind. I guess that's just me. Maybe that's just me.
No, okay. It's a thing, though.
Yeah, it is. It's anyways. But yeah, you feel like your teeth and your claws are kind of falling apart. And as you kind of look up from that with this weird kind of sick taste in your mouth, you can see what it was that you thought was there, but it wasn't there, but it is now. You see a drow woman standing before you. She seems to be encased in some sort of force energy that has taken the shape of a cone around her. She has elven chain armor. She has bright white hair, red eyes, and she's carrying a bronze sword that appears to be made in a dwarvish fashion. And she's kind of looking at you with like a sad look on her face. And she kind of places her hand up to the force wall between you two that's kind of encasing her in it, this cone that she's been placed in.
I throw my rock at it.
It bounces off. All right, as the curious cat kind of inspects this, we'll go ahead and move on to the next person. I want to save the best for last, Joe. I do, so I'm going to go... I'll do you real quick. You see it. You see the thing. Right before you, rising up out of the water and seeming to just take over the entirety of the space that you're in, is a form in plate armor with golden just metal jutting out of its back and spines of metal tearing across the water. You can hear it scraping like steel on stone. It raises its hand, a staff or a rod in its hand. At the end of that rod is a white porcelain mask, and behind the white porcelain mask is a green flame encircled with black shadows dancing and licking across the metals. And it says, "Oh, welcome back, Stennen."
I'm just gonna stop, kind of check it all out for a minute.
Yeah. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's just the stuff I just smoked.
You kind of stare at the face and you see it warp into a kind of demonic, the face that's on the porcelain mask, warp into kind of a demonic face, but then it shifts again just slightly. And you notice there isn't much difference between the demon face and your own face. The mask now seems to hold your visage on it. And as you kind of realize this, hundreds of these spines come flaring up out of the water behind you from straight out from its armor and everything and slam into your body. And the same pain that you felt when you were resurrected and a portion of your soul was torn out of you, you feel it again. And you can see the mask being lifted and levitated up by webs of metal up over your face, staring down at you. It shifts from your face back into the blank, emotionless face of Teffington. And it says, "You're mine forever now." And you just feel yourself sinking.
No!
Typhon, I don't know why that girl's out in front of you. That's strange. Wrong one. I can't hear you.
You're muted, Chad.
Sorry.
Still push to
The
talk.
whole time. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Cast bless on myself.
Oh, okay. You cast a spell? That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. As you do,
So
and you start to cast a spell on yourself, you start to realize the magic isn't really emanating. It's not really like focusing out, mainly because you don't seem to have a sprinkling of holy water or your holy symbol, because when you look down, you're completely naked. You also notice that your arm is still missing, but the thing is
Weird.
it's not cauterized. It's bleeding. Make a Constitution saving throw.
okay.
Okay. You've dealt with pain in your past before. You've near death several times in your journeys, and the sudden arrival of you basically being shorn clean and blood just jutting out of you doesn't seem to affect you physically as it might a lesser human. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, nice.
You start to kind of look around and you see shadows and shapes forming up out of you, but they don't seem to like focus. They don't seem to take form until finally you start to see through the veil, and you can see that there is a puppeteer or a shaper of these dreams, a shaper of these shadows, and you recognize its 9 ruby eyes. You recognize its horrible lamprey mouth. It's entirely just alien form, and there it kind of looks to you with a sheepish kind of look as you see it through the veil.
Like it's embarrassed, like it's surprised, like it doesn't know what to do now that I caught it.
Why is that happening? It basically it just surprised mainly. Kind of like you're doing some work at work and someone kind of walks in on you doing it, you know.
They're like, oh,
Or you're like in your bedroom alone and
Yeah,
somebody,
you're straight yerking the gherkin and someone walks in on you. Yeah, that.
yeah.
yeah. Typhon stands his ground. Says, I knew we'd find you here.
He says as he kind of like pushes the shadow stuff away and kind of leans in forward. You mean you? And he kind of smiles or takes on like a pleased look. You can tell it's pleased.
Yeah, Typhon looks around and he says, I know this is all an illusion.
Yes, but this is not a place of illusion magic. You have entered into my place of being. You are no longer in your own dreams. You are in my nightmare! Roll a wisdom saving throw. Again. All right.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you are sprawled out, wearing all of your clothes in kind of a weird stupor, and you can see the others just still sitting in their meditative trance. But you are completely worn out. You feel super tired, so much so that you're not even sure you can stay awake or kind of do anything besides talk.
I
Standing.
can't even cast bless on those of my friends that are still asleep.
You can attempt to, but I'm going to let you know something. Like, you're casting it on their forms here in this plane. You would know that if they are where you think they are, that it probably wouldn't help them.
Do any of them look like they're struggling? Like they're having
As of right now, no.
nightmares, seizures?
As of right now, no.
I'm gonna go pull a couple guards, tell them to keep an eye on them, and let me know if any of them start like thrashing or screaming or doing anything crazy. And then I'm gonna find somewhere nearby to set out my sleep and roll.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah, as you kind of grab the guard's shoulder and kind of turn around and start talking to him, you look up after you finish saying what you're saying, and you look right into the eyes of Joseph.
What?
He says, "You got it, boss," and he starts walking away to go get a couple other guards to watch the people.
As he walks away, I cast Divine Sense.
Celestial, fiend, or undead? Nope. Everything seems normal. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next person. Let's go back to Aramil. Everything seems to be kind of shadowy and weighty to you. And everything seems to be just kind of still. You have this strange feeling, though. This strange feeling of directionality. You know when you're going somewhere and you have an idea of where you're going, but you kind of get lost for a second, but then you go, oh, I remember that. And you kind of walk towards this in that direction and follow it.
Sure.
Yeah. So you're kind of getting this strange sense. Like, there's no real indicators. There's no street signs or anything like that. But you have a sense that if you walk in this direction, you'll go the way that you need to go.
Yeah, I'd start heading in that direction. Yeah, I'm an expert at directionality.
Yeah. You can see a strange
camps.
Light off in the distance, and it seems to be kind of glowing in kind of a cone shape.
With the cone facing towards me, like a
cone's
portal
pointing
of some
up,
sort?
straight up. It looks like the cone is kind of settled on the ground.
Alright, I'd try to examine it from a safe distance.
You hear a loud pong, and you can see that there is something inside of the cone and a form just outside of the cone. From what you can tell from here, it looks like the shape outside of the cone threw a rock at the cone.
Do I recognize the shape?
If you are attempting to move in, yeah, you would notice that it has a very Tabaxian look to it, but it seems kind of haggard, like tired looking. I'm going to go ahead and zip you on over to there.
Oh. Hell, Shadow.
This place is fucked up.
I'm kidding.
As
Pete a little back there.
As Aramil kind of approaches, you can see the girl inside of the thing has kind of just started grasping her head. She's dropped her sword, and she seems to be kind of like just shaking in agony. Quiet, silent agony, though. You really can't hear anything that's happening inside of this cone.
You said what? She looks like what?
She's wearing elvish chain. Looks like a elvish made cloak. She has white hair, dark skin of the drow, red eyes, and looks like a holy symbol on her chest. On the ground near her is a bronze dwarvish sword.
I mean, what's her demeanor like?
She's in
Oh,
pain.
right now she's grasping her head and kind of shaking. She's still standing, but you would have seen as you approached, she dropped her sword and kind of just started shaking, like with her head on it. Yeah.
And Shadow's throwing rocks at her.
But yeah,
Right.
now when I see you, I'd approach. Well, at the force field. Let's try to break open the force field.
How do you want to do that?
I have a dagger. Maybe I could try to pierce the field without injuring her.
Okay. You walk over and try and stab the shield?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you expect the result is going to be?
I expect I'm going to feel some resistance and not much is going to happen.
Okay. So your fears are obviously, met. You feel the dagger kind of hit against a solid force field, and it doesn't really do anything.
I tried to imagine that the force field isn't there.
Okay.
If I roll above a 12 on my wisdom.
I mean, no, I'm not having you roll any dice. I didn't ask you to do that. I mean, that's cool that you think that's
I know, I
how
was
this
trying
works, but it's
to
not.
decide if that's what I would do or not.
Sure, with that wisdom saving throw, you actually just start stabbing Shadow for no reason.
That's right.
Because you think
Dead,
you
bitch.
think
You're not real.
cone, cat. It all starts with C.
There is no spoon.
There is no cat.
But they're scratching my head.
Yeah, it doesn't seem there's any way for you to open this cone. And you guys stand there perplexed. If you guys want to continue a conversation on the side, feel free to do so in dialogue. I'm going to go ahead and go back to Chi. Yeah, you feel yourself pulled into the darkness. You feel that form that was very familiar to you kind of move away from you. It seems to ascend away from you. And it feels like you're now under where you were before. But it's completely still and silent and blank. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask before I kind of move forward with this?
Is the silver one? I mean, I don't see either of the forms anymore.
Yeah, it's completely black. In fact, there's no ripples to it anymore. You appear, from what you can tell, you were pushed by the form into the liquid floor, and you're now inside of that.
Yeah, I'm just trying my best to stay calm.
Okay. You feel something grasping at you, like a hand kind of grasping at you. And it doesn't seem to be kind of like trying to, hurt you. It seems to be trying to get a hold on you to kind of like pull you up or lift you up. What would you do?
Grab it and try to keep it at arm's length while seeing what's attached to it.
Okay. Once you grab a hold of it, and it kind of stops and like holds locked on like a pauldron or a portion of your gorget, and lifts up, and you feel like you're being pulled up out of the water into a cone of force alongside of a girl. As you two are watching, you see the girl like rack in agony, drop to the ground, and then reach into the floor and pull Chi up out of the water with an immense strength. And she kind of leaves him deposited next to her inside of the forest. She kind of, once you're out, Chi, all you can hear is her sobbing and her kind of like just agonized breath. She looks at you. Are you okay?
Go ahead and check on my body parts. I'm all here.
Do
you need help?
As you do check over your body parts and such, you start to notice that the metal arm and also other portions of your skin are kind of burned. It looks like from where the tendrils of the thing's wings grabbed you and pulled you in towards it. And it seems to have burnt into the steel of your arm.
That's going to leave a mark. Do you know where we're at?
Yeah, we've entered a waking. I don't know why you accepted the request of the Dreamwalker, but here you are. You're Chi, right?
Yes, and who are you?
My name is Celia.
Wait a minute. As in, uh-oh.
As in,
Yeah. As in the automaton. Yeah.
I'm Uru's friend.
Yeah. You're the walking robot construct. So you're trapped in
There's
here,
really no
and
reason to be rude about it. I'm not calling you a freak for your nature. I can't believe what you've gone
yeah,
through. I can't believe what
I
you.
wasn't trying to be rude. I was just describing what you look like in the real world.
Well, I'm not describing you to you what you look like here. You've gone through so much pain and agony. How do you continue on?
If I don't continue on, I lose the fight.
Well, what's the point of fighting?
For my own light.
You also realize at this point that you've been speaking to her in Elvish the entire time, and you know Elvish, so it kind of came out like you were just talking, but then you start to kind of go, huh, makes sense. All right, cutting back to the outside, you can see the events unfold, but you cannot hear anything come out of the cone of silence. Shadow and Aramil, you're kind of just sitting there. Chi looks like he's been wounded quite a bit.
So he appeared inside the force field?
Yes, he's inside of it.
It's fucking shit.
Shadow is going to go over to Aramil and shake him and say, "Wake up!"
At that point, Joe, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. Okay. You guys see a streak of greenish energy kind of descending from the heavens, and you can hear it roaring across the sky, just from the heavens. And you see this green ball just kind of drop down straight onto the top, the point of the cone. You succeeded on your saving throw, so you'll only take half of this. Psychic damage.
Right.
You see him descend down and just barely miss the point of the spike, hit the spike, roll off to the side, and just slam into the water. It looks like he is quite cut up as well.
Aramil would try to regain his composure after Shadow shakes him. Just go up to the force field and put my hand against it.
Okay. You're touching it.
This is not my area of expertise. Try to shoot an arrow through it.
Okay.
At the ground.
Go ahead and make a range attack roll.
That's a nice waste.
Damn.
Okay. You kind of aim true at the cone, and as you kind of look at it, you can see that it kind of just emanates with a bit of energy. And you look at the top of it, and you can see that that appears to be where it's weakest. You're not sure if the very large Parnan man just descending down from the heavens and smashing into it is what's weakened it. But you realize that there is a weakness, and you fire the arrow, and it hits true. The force shatters out like glass in hundreds of shards, and as they pass through you and into you, they don't seem to really feel physical or magical. They just appear to be just visual things that are kind of passing through you. Some of you kind of duck and dodge out of the way with your uncanny evasions, and you're ducking in the cloaks, but it doesn't seem to matter.
Well, that was easier than expected. See, that wasn't so bad.
Okay. And
Everybody's still conscious in this grouping, though?
yeah. Typhon, as you're kind of staring off after Joseph as he goes to get other guards, you turn and look over to a sound that's very just haunting to you. You see Celia standing behind Shadow, and she just kind of starts yelling out in agony, her metallic voice kind of droning as she drops to her knees and kind of just places her metal hands on the ground behind Shadow. She then falls inert.
Shit. I send someone to go get Uru.
Okay. They go.
And then I do my companions. I mean, I'd really like to go back under and get back in there, but A, I've got no one to lead me in, and B, I need to sleep for, I'm assuming, 8 hours before I can then rest for another 8 hours to get back in.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay. There's shit going on, and all my homies are...
Is there anybody you want to go get? I mean, like, do you want to go get Uru yourself since you don't have anything better to do?
Go smack around Farron.
Passed out. Yeah, actually, I'm going to do that. If Farron's, like, in a trance, too, I'm just going to go...
Smack him?
Yeah.
Okay. You walk over to him, you bring your hand back and smack him in the face. The second you do, you see his jaw smash into like the other side of his mouth, as if the force of your blow, even though it was just to start a smaller slap, it seems like you hit him with the force of 100 giants, and his head spins about, you hear a snapping, and Farron drops to the ground, seemingly dead.
Does anybody see me do that?
No one seems to notice.
But there are other people who would have noticed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah, this is obviously a fucking dream. Man, I just fucking start lighting everything on fire.
Okay. It doesn't seem like your fire really distends outward from away, but as you start to light fires, like they start to kind of catch, and you seem to be setting this area aflame.
And nobody's fucking doing anything about it.
No one seems to care. No one's moving.
Marshmallows.
No one's moving or anything.
Okay.
How long do you let the fires go?
I fucking start the fires on the other side of the camp, and I come back
You
and
can't
I
get
drag all my friends.
You can't get to the other side of the camp. As you try to leave the campsite where the fire pit's at, where Farron's located, you keep walking, and it feels like you're not really getting there. And then you realize you're on the other side of the campfire pit, coming in from the other angle. Like you walked off one end, and you entered into the other side.
Okay.
Like Mario Brothers Classic.
Right.
You let the fires continue? Are you going to start the fires in the campsite, or?
No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go try to wake up Celia.
Okay. You walk over to her, and you realize she's not asleep; she's dead.
Dead.
Yeah. You actually kind of roll her over, and you can see that the brain is loose out of its setting. The wires are kind of pulled away from it, and it's completely just inert. I'll leave you there. I'm going to go ahead and cut back into the dream world. Celia kind of looks to you, and then kind of looks to the others, and she says, "I feel so free." She kind of grins, and she looks over at the area here, and she says, "Why would you trust him?"
We've known him quite a long time.
You can't trust anyone here. This is the realm of the sleeper, and you have gracefully walked into the tears of the sleeper.
You're welcome.
She is speaking Elvish, by the way. So the word tears comes up as steps, not crying.
How did you get here?
I came along with you when I started to see what you were doing.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought it might work in that I have never tranced well in that form, but it seemed that with a circle leader, it might be possible. I had to take the chance. I hope Uru can forgive me. Quick scene cut back to the inert form of Celia laying there, deceased.
Hmm?
Cut back to the dream world.
So she followed us in, even though she knew it was a one-way trip.
I don't know if that's the case or not. We'll see. But yeah,
So how do we get higher up in these tiers?
it's not really so much a higher up thing. I don't think there's really a sequence to it. She kind of looks around and she says, I know that when it comes to guarding ourselves in our enclave, there were a number of bubbles that were placed outside of our dimension. It could be what the sleeper has done. I'm sure that it would have access to the secrets of the dream leaders. The dwarfs did, that's for sure. So I'm certain that this entity has it as well. Shaft, you kind of just start trying to track or anything, and you're not really getting any read. Stenin, you kind of, roll and kind of get up and start kind of moving around. You can see that there's a strange drow girl, Chi, who you haven't really traveled with much, Aramil and Shadow standing in this place. The ripples don't seem to follow you, Aramil, Chi, or the girl. They seem to follow Shadow.
I'm going to take my sword and sort of stick it straight into the ripples beneath me.
Water ripples, dagger, or whatever goes in. Do you just let it drop?
No.
Okay.
I'm hoping it will take me somewhere else.
Doesn't seem to be the way of it.
Can I reach out and touch Shadow?
Yeah, he's there.
Poke him.
Huddle up.
Start poking him.
Can I heal myself?
Yeah.
Try to heal him. Okay, I'm gonna try.
I didn't make you.
Does there seem to be a floor, like underneath the water, or is it just a?
It doesn't appear like as you're standing there. It feels like there's a floor underneath your feet. If you stab it with something or kind of put your hand to it, you can kind of feel it like you can sink into a bit. But after a fashion, it seems to have a buoyancy and lift back up to the surface. If Shadow had dropped his sword or dagger in there, it would have just floated back up to the top.
I point out to everyone. It's strange that the ripples aren't following the rest of us, except Shadow.
I start walking to the south.
Don't move your token. Put it
Okay.
back in the center. You'll destroy the illusion.
I understand.
As you start to move, everybody else feels forced to follow in your position. They don't.
Oh, sweet.
They don't move. They just seem to glide across the water after you.
Including the drow and wow. Okay. So I move a little bit south.
Okay. They
Since I don't think anybody asked, I will let everybody know that this is Celia.
Yeah, why'd we do that? What kind, though?
Huh?
Never mind.
You guys wait for a while then? Trying to figure out what's going on. Chad, you said you let fire to the campsite, right?
Yeah, except in the immediate area around this tent where my friends are all sleeping.
Sure. The fire, you quickly lose control of it, and it just sets the entire campsite and you ablaze. You seem fine in it. It doesn't seem to be affecting you too much because of your hellish resistance. But the rest of you, I need to make wisdom saving throws.
Okay, so the rest of us. Okay.
Correct.
Do they get bonuses from Chi or me?
Chi, if he's present, yeah. But the way they're currently positioned, he's not close to anyone besides the drow. Okay. So, Aramil, Chi, and Stenin, you feel this burning sensation, and the very next thing you know, you're back inside the tent, inside of the place where you started the ritual, but it's all on fire. And outside, you can see Typhon, but you don't seem to see Celia And you don't seem to see Shadow waking up from his position as the fire kind of looks over him. Shadow, take 3d6. Let's see here.
Damn.
14 psychic damage. And
Yeah, go ahead.
you feel this pain kind of just rushing over your mind and your body. As that's happening, the girl, Celia, runs over to you, and she grabs your hands as you kind of have the pain coming through you. And you feel this wave of just healing energy kind of wash over you. If you haven't taken any other damage, so regain 14 hit points. The effect is very similar in kind to Typhon's lay on hands.
Shadow thanks Celia. He's going to twist the ring on his finger and see if anything happens with the ripples.
You move your hand to the finger of the ring, and you notice that it's not present.
Oh, fuck. I know I can make the ring invisible. I'm going to try to.
It feels like it's there, and you try to focus on it to get it to come back, and you feel like it's there, but it doesn't manifest. And she looks at you in an Elvish. Do you speak Elvish?
I do.
She says, "He did not allow things that he did not want into this place. You play on his rules, not on your own." She looks to you and she says, "It's going to hurt, but you must go through the flames."
Where are the flames?
You don't feel them. And as she says that, the rest of you guys see that Shadow's not moving out of the fire. What would you like to do?
Grab him.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely grab him, pull him out. Try to find somewhere where we're away from the fire.
It doesn't seem like there's any place now that's away from the fire, other than where you're kind of moving to get away from the fire. And then when you move Shadow to a place, Shadow's body seems to just be like a magnet for the flames that keep dancing over to it, trying to ignite it. And as you walk off one side of the campsite, you come on the other side of the campsite into a less on fire place because the fire seems to be chasing you from place to place
Okay.
as you drag Shadow around.
Can we just get like a moment, or I can just cast a spell on him?
I mean, you can cast a spell. Feel free.
Okay.
He's not here.
It's not going to work. We're still sleeping.
We'll see. Because lay on hands and other shit is working now.
So
first
cast your
thing
spell.
I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use thaumaturgy to make my voice super loud.
Sure.
Then I'm gonna cast command, and when I do, I'm gonna shout.
Okay, just waste the spell slot. Don't worry about it. You cast a spell at basically a sleeping person who isn't really paying attention to you. And on the other side, you take 7 points of psychic damage as the flames lick over your interior. You feel just fire rushing your head. And she says, "Do you feel them? Do you feel the flames?"
So you're saying Shadow takes that damage, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I feel it.
Go into them. Let them take you.
So he will do that.
She holds your hands tight, and you can just feel yourself kind of becoming engulfed in flame. Take 25 points of psychic damage. And Chad, as you kind of cast your spell, and you see that it doesn't affect, and you kind of like get a look on your face like, oh, you see Shadow's eyes like kind of slam open. Strangely, though, one of his eyes is red, and the other one is the regular, just green color. And the flames just whoosh out.
One of my eyes is red.
Is it like red like there's blood in it, or red like it looks like the sleeper?
Right.
Make a perception check.
Sleeper.
I'm fine, guys.
Stay woke, bro.
Yeah, it might be the sleeper.
No, I'm totally fine. I promise.
Shadow has that. Oh wait, no, you've got the proof against him.
No, so I have the ring, but he said that the ring is gone, so it didn't let me come with the ring.
The ring of mind shielding.
Is the ring there in this level?
Doesn't appear to be present.
Jerk. Shadow's like singed fur. It smells really rancid. He's hurting. I could use some heals.
You guys are kind of looking at each other. Stenin, you're not really paying attention to this. You're kind of just, doing that longing stare off and away because you're kind of feeling, a bit remorse about what just happened. But you notice that everywhere outside of the camp circle that you're in, every other portion of the cavern camp is on fire.
Hold on. I lay on hand Shadow for 10.
Okay,
What are the?
it works.
Like, what's going on with the people? Do I see any people running around? On
You
Give
see-
me more. Give me more.
You see town guards on fire, running around, dying, falling to the ground, just becoming blackened corpses. You see,
try to save them all. I want to
see-
save them.
okay, you rush towards the fire. The second you enter into the flames and can feel the heat, you seem to just deposit out back into the camp. Into the circle that you were in.
Shadow, so Typhon heals Shadow because he looks like shit.
Mhm.
He looks around and he sees, who was it? Stenin that tried running into the flames?
Yeah, I'm like freaking out. I
Mhm.
see everybody on fire.
Okay, but when Shadow woke up, all the flames went away, and he's also got something weird going on with his eyes. Typhon just roughly grabs him by the scruff of the neck like you would a cat,
Mhm.
and just starts dragging him into the flames.
Okay. Yeah, same thing. You and him go shunting to the other side. As you do that, you see Shadow
fuck?
kind of go, "What the?" And as he's about to finish that sentence, his entire demeanor changes, and he looks up at you and he says, "It's me. It's me. Stop trying to burn us." And his voice changed to that of a girl. And then it kind of snaps, and Shadow, you take control of your body again.
Whoa! Oh, Celia, I'm sorry.
Help!
But obviously Shadow didn't realize that, so he snaps back to it, and I'm like, "Oh, Celia, I'm sorry." And Shadow's like, "What?"
What the fuck are you doing, Typhon?
I had to see. Okay, we're safe for the moment. All of you are here with me.
For those of you guys who haven't been on this level before, you see the circle camp where the ritual was placed. You see Farron, looks like his head has been just shunted in a full 180 degrees. His jaw looks like it's been broken. And behind where you were, Shadow, is the corpse of the automaton, formerly known as Celia.
Oh, I am not the one telling Uru.
This is another dream.
You know what? Just give him a pony, and it'll be okay.
Actually, yeah, I cast Find Steed.
Are you casting it as a ritual, or you can't cast it as
I'm
a
not
ritual?
actually casting.
Oh, okay.
Although, since my horse was already summoned, can I telepathically sense anything from him?
No,
Okay, interesting.
you have to be on the same plane to do that.
Oh.
Heal Shadow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, Shadow, you get more healing.
Oh, yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 100, how do you feel?
Okay. As you guys are kind of cruising around, looking out to the just desolation that seems to be racking the cavern camp, you see a form swimming through the fire like the fire was water, bluish
Hey.
in scale, and it finally looks over in your direction with 9 red eyes.
I cast Bless on everybody.
Okay.
So I cast Bless on Shadow, Aramil, and
Okay. The form looks over in your direction and swims through the fire to the edge of it and kind of comes up out of it like the flames were water, looking at you. It appears to be the sleeper. And it says, in a language that you seem to understand, to the Tabaxi, it appears to be the language of your people. To the Tiefling, it appears to be the infernal tongue of your heritage. To Chi, it's the celestial tongue of your lineage. To Stenin, it's common, because, And then to Aramil, it's Elvish. And it says, "Oh, I didn't think that you would be entering into this lair so early. I was trying to get everything ready for you." And then it looks over to the fallen body of Farron, and then looks over to Typhon. "Do you plan on doing this for real?" And you can see that it's pleased again. That face that it made when it was excited before, when you've seen it excited before, it seems to take it on that look.
Typhon says, so tell me, when I break through your illusions, does it cause you pain?
I do not need for you to understand, but know this. These are not illusions. You have entered into my nightmare. You are my
Wherever they
pawns.
are, they're not going to stop me coming to take your head.
You are my pawns. You are my puppets. You are my toys. My playthings. If I so wish it, I could kill you here. And as he says that, Typhon, you see Stenin, you see Shadow, you see Chi, you see Aramil, all just bulge out from their chests with a lance, and they all just start like looking at you with agony. While that's happening, Andy, you see all of your friends get a lance through their chest, and I hope you guys get the picture. Every one of you, for just a second, sees everybody else die, and it kind of like shocks you for a second, but then it's just done, and then it. You were foolish enough to follow the Dreamwalker. This is your punishment. As it says that, Shadow, you feel like your body just gets taken from you. And she smiles and she says, "You've given it away, fool." And she runs towards the center of the campfire and she just throws the cat into it. You watch
What?
as he kills, or she kills himself.
What?
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
What's
Yeah.
happening?
So you
What is
guys
life?
watch as the cat gets thrown into the campfire in the center of the camp.
Shadow?
And
Yeah.
then what?
Shadow will talk in a second. And then the Aboleth kind of and kind of like darts back into the flame sea. Everybody else, you just watch as
Did it sound frustrated when it said that?
and then
I
run
might
away.
have gone up
Yeah,
up a tier.
yeah, it left. Annoyed.
Okay.
Follow the cat.
Yeah, I say follow the cat.
As you appear in this place, you notice that you're kind of standing in like in the sky, like a blue sky. There are clouds underneath your feet, and standing next to you, Shadow, is Celia, as you saw her before. She has her sword in her sheath at her side, and she kind of looks at you with a smile. He was trying to make you all fear the thing that you fear most, which was the answer to the riddle.
He succeeded.
So we had to sacrifice Shadow.
You
I don't care for him that much.
I know.
So you fear that if your friends were to die, that what, you would lose something?
We would lose everything. All we've worked for.
She kind of nods her head, and she looks up at you and she says, "Do you think Uru feels that way about me?" And as she says that, poof! Typhon appears.
I'm sure she must.
He must.
So he must,
So
yeah.
when I appear, there's a separate Shadow and a separate Celia.
There's a Shadow and a Celia, yeah.
Is she in her drow form or her automaton form?
Drow form.
What color are Shadow's eyes?
Interesting.
Shadow's eyes are normal.
Interesting. All right, I
Does she
like
have red eyes?
where this is going.
Yeah,
She
and
has
Ralph.
she has
If
red
you
eyes.
don't go back to your automaton body, I'm not telling Uru. He might cry, and I don't want to see a barbarian cry.
I understand, but we may not make it out of this place alive. She looks around and she says, "I've had this dream before, and I don't think I can help you with it."
Can you at least tell us what to expect?
Yeah, I can. And as she says that, you kind of just get this whistling feeling kind of like rushing over you as you're out in the sky. Stenin appearing, Aramil appearing, and she appearing after they murdered themselves in the other place, in the campfire specifically.
Yeah, we should have thrown Farron in there too. Fuck.
She says to you, "It's a test of wills, this. We would use bubbles like this to protect our realm from people who would intrude. but the secrets can be changed by the Shaper. And I'm certain that this one is not like the ones that my walkers would make.
Secrets.
Yes, there's a path. There's always a path. And she kind of gestures out towards the clouds. And as you kind of look at them, you can see that there's a line of clouds, that kind of like lines and lines of clouds that seem to trek off in webbings. As you look at it, it looks like a giant web of clouds just out towards the sky. She says, the path you see, it's decided by the Shaper.
Well, shit. So what? We're basically just flying right now?
You guys feel like you're up in the heavens. Yeah, like you don't see anything down below. It just seems like more sky below. And you don't see anything up above. It just seems like more sky above. But you can see that the road that you're on, it looks like it splinters off into a web of other just cloud paths.
Okay, so Typhon kind of huddles up with the rest of them, and he says, I think we should pick a path and stick together and try to follow it.
Okay.
Ain't got nothing else to do with it.
And he turns to Celia and he says, are you coming with us?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, excellent.
But
Then
I don't think I can
Typhon-
guide you.
That's fine. I'll take the lead.
Okay.
Like I said, we got to get you back, or I'm going to have to buy Uru opponent.
Go ahead and make a perception check. Chad. I can't see what you got. What'd you get?
I got a 20.
Okay. You notice that your arm's not gone. You have your regular arm underneath the shield's brace. And you also feel that you can see, with the help of the shield, that one of the paths seems more solid than the others, and that walking down any of the other paths would have led to probably some sort of problem.
Boom.
Okay, so I'm going to obviously, share that information with everybody. I'm going to take the lead following the path that I think looks the most reliable.
Okay.
Take out my quarterstaff, and I'm basically going to be using my quarterstaff to probe the ground ahead of me while I walk.
All right.
Are we walking or are we flying?
What did you say you were your quarterstaff?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
He's riding it like a witch's broom.
What'd you get?
I got a 6.
Your quarterstaff is gone, and you start to fall with it. Who would have been right behind you?
What the hell?
Shadow would have been behind him.
Dexterity saving throw.
Yeah. Uh, 19.
Okay. You grab a hold of Chad's cloak and pull him back up onto the cloud bridge, and you see his staff just start hurtling down into the blue.
Interesting.
How long
Typhon says,
do you take to kind of reacclimate yourself?
who, me?
Just everybody.
Oh, probably a minute.
After a fashion, off in the distance, not too far away from where you're at, but off to your right or right side, you see your staff just fall from the heavens and just continue on descending down.
Interesting. Well, that's nice to know. Any items in your bag or your belt? If your hand's free. And then they continue along the path.
Okay. Hands free. You guys continue on. Two, three, four. Okay. After a fashion, you can see that the path seems to be leading up to something. You see a total of 10 spires kind of rising up out of the clouds. And it looks like 3 just flat platforms surrounding those spires. On those platforms are blue stone, shining blue stone, lions, you think, or some form of cat. And in the center of the spires, there's a series of steps that leads up to a larger platform. Atop that platform is a back wall to the platform, with more spires kind of coming up out of it, but smaller spires than the spires that you see in the distance. Bear with me here.
Does the architecture look reminiscent of anything?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, not to you guys.
Castle.
And there's 10 of them. They're all identical. They look like that.
Identical.
3 platforms and the lions and mini spires.
Yeah, they look like they're made from the same architecture, sure, but they don't look like they're identical, no.
Okay.
They look like they are kind of different.
Is Celia still with us?
Yeah, she's with you as well.
What
Sorry,
are those?
this map is weird. She says, bear with me here. She says they appear to be the gate to the next level. She kind of looks at you, though, and she says, this will truly test your mettle. If you are not prepared, I suggest we just jump. I think that we can leave this way.
Jump.
Yes. Did you not see how the staff came back down?
Yeah.
And that the way it came down, it shows to me that this bubble is not perfect. It's not. She looks over at Typhon. You know what I mean.
It's not finished.
It's not perfect. Make a Arcana check, Typhon.
Okay.
You have advantage on it because of your nature. You are familiar with some aspects of the elemental chaos. What she means by perfect is infinite. There are some planes that have it manifest their nature that they are infinite. There are some planes that don't, that have a finite space in it. She's saying that this one is not infinite.
Gotcha. What she means is the space is limited.
Correct. So we might be able to fall out of it, but that would be a risk you'd have to take. I can't say for sure if I'm certain of that.
Okay, so let me get this straight. She thinks that trying to go out through the spires and the platforms would be the proper way to do it. It's just going to be more difficult.
No, those would be the way to go up or down or whatever your directionality is when it comes to these tiers that he spoke about. But if you wanted to leave this place, we might be able to do it just by falling.
So Typhon looks around. He says, this is the moment where we decide whether we want to push on and finish this or we want to retreat. I don't think the sleeper was expecting us to make it this far. I feel, we might be able to dislodge it from our dreams and weaken its influence over.
She looks at you and
Dighgrum as a whole.
She looks at you and she says another thing. She says, another thing I've noticed here too is that this dreaming place, if that's any indication, she gestures towards the center platform and its number of spires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 on the center platform and 10 on the outside. If that's any indication, as it was in the older dreamscapes, we haven't even scratched the surface of his tears.
Shadow is going to ask, are these tiers changeable, or once they're made, are they set? Can he change them along the way to suit his needs?
I don't know what his power is, but when a Dreamwalker created a plane, they could work to change and shape it as they willed.
Typhon points at the spires and he says, is there some sort of connection with all these individual spires and the tiers or levels of the dream that they represent?
Connection? No. They're simply representational. It's more of a wayfarer's trick to guide one through.
Can we figure out which one's at the very top and how to get there?
You're not understanding what I'm saying. Think of it as a map, not so much as a doorway.
Shadow wants to jump and leave. We've been tricked here. We're on his ground. We're not fighting it from a place of strength.
No, I don't think anywhere was his ground. We're not going to fight from strength.
As you guys
It's a good idea.
As you guys are sitting there, kind of contemplating it, you've kind of been just talking for a while and haven't really been paying much attention. But what you start to notice is that the path that you're on and the paths that are near it have started to kind of separate away. The ones that were near it have gone and moved away. And you notice that the clouds out in front of you start to rise up in a very abolithian shape. And it's now got those other pathways as its tendrils. And it looks straight at you with 9 ruby eyes that come up out of a storm cloud. And it looks to you. I know one of you thinks that you are powerful over this, and your goddess will give you some ability to control this. And I know another one of you thinks that you might be able to wield it as one does a hammer. Progress then, if you so deem it fit, if you think that you are ready for this storm. And as it says that, lightning starts to blast out of its form and just kind of cackle around you. Everybody make a dexterity saving throw.
Give him a taste of his own medicine, Stennin. Cast Call Lightning now that you're standing in the middle of a fucking storm.
I'm going to use my inspiration.
I got an 11.
Mm-hmm. I'd say everybody else is pretty close to you, so they'll get their benefits from you.
Okay.
Plus what?
3.
So... Okay. You said you're going to use your inspiration?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You see a bolt of lightning just dance towards Aramil. It bolts past him, and it looks like it's about to take Shadow clear off. But just last second ducks down and like falls flat on the clouds. As the bolt kind of hits behind him, you see it slam into Stennin and kind of ripple through and over him. It seems to take his form and the form behind him, which would be Typhon's, or actually reverse that, Typhon then Stennin. Takes both of them and seems to just send them flying and careening off into the distance. But everybody else seems to remain stationary. The lightning passes over you. Bear with me here. If you failed, take 12. If you succeeded, take 23. Or reverse that. The thing I said, but backwards. Strike that. Reverse it.
Yeah, so if we fail, take 23.
Right. And you are knocked off the platform.
Okay, that's fine. I can live with this.
All right.
So we fall.
Correct. The others, you stand there as it begins to manifest, the storm clouds forming into a slick, serpentine kind of alien creature. And it's laughing. Maddening laughter.
Typhon, Aramel, or Typhon got blown off, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Typhon and Stennin got blown off.
And so Aramel, and I don't remember Joe's name. That's Stennin, isn't it?
Stennin got knocked off.
So Aramel and Shadow, I don't think we can hurt this thing. We should probably jump.
Jump. We'll grab Celia.
Yep. Let's everybody grab Celia.
You turn and look back to see where she's at. You don't see her. You're not sure if she got hit
Probably
or not.
already jumped.
She's a monster.
I am not telling Uru.
You guys jump off the edge.
Do you agree, Chaff?
Yeah. Airmail's just completely befuddled in here, so he's just silent and observant the whole time.
Its laughter only trails after you for a second, but then you hear kind of a surprised sound as you kind of descend down into the blue. as you kind of hit what you would presume kind of like a stopping point or just a weird kind of end point, like it feels like as far as the staff might have gone, you feel yourself being ripped apart. And I need everyone here to make a Constitution saving throw.
I got a 13.
Last one, I promise.
Yeah, we don't have that bonus now, I don't think. So.
Okay. As you descend back into your own bodies, you just feel this racking agony kind of just swelling over you. And Shadow, it's so bad it causes you to throw up. Just
Oh, hairballs.
Bits of Kuatoa, and you're like, oh shit.
Aramil and Chi, a bit of the same for you two as well. You guys are all just kind of sprawled out, puking. Typhon, you are not unaffected by it either. It's definitely just agony with you. Quick question, just a quick question I need to ask. Who had the diamond?
I think it was.
I think it's actually in the party loot.
Party loot.
I thought that Typhon was with Stenin, though.
Yeah. So they would have been there throwing up when you guys arrived.
Okay.
They would have been pre-gaming your pre-game. So Shadow would have appeared and started throwing up and seen Stenin and Typhon throwing up. Well, we don't know if Stenin made his check, but yeah, at least Typhon's throwing up. So we'll assume that you're not too far from the party treasury. But yeah, something happens. Nothing really noticeable or anything, but yeah. Okay.
Something.
Okay.
We noticed something.
So
happening?
we'll discuss something. I'm just putting on the video for myself. I'm putting a note here.
Yeah. So somebody steals a diamond. Got it.
Yeah,
Disappears.
a diamond was
Nobody
stolen.
stole the diamond.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask from left to right. You guys reappear back in camp, and yeah, this is the first session we've had that actually takes place mostly in camp. Pretty crazy. Shadow, what would Shadow do?
Shadow would get the others who just, sort of are getting over being sick, and he would say, we need to find Farron and see what's up with him.
Farron's sitting right in front of you.
Oh, boy.
And you can see that his head is glowing, and he seems to be kind of just drooling out of the side of his face.
We need
Does he have that
to
rune on his forehead?
secure him.
The glyph is glowing on his forehead, yeah.
Need to deal with him.
I'm going to go slap him.
Okay.
No, he's a...
Doesn't seem to affect him.
Okay, but at least it didn't rip his head off. So we know this is not another part of the dream.
Or it's a better constructed dream.
Yeah. Quick, Morty, we both need to get Jake naked and jump in the shower.
We got to do sexy splits. Mask.
We have to deal with him in some way, though.
Yeah, I'm going to have a few... Okay, I'm going to put him under Maluriel's care.
One more time.
Assign 2 guards
Sorry,
to watch him.
you're getting ahead of me. Shadow, you're focusing on Farron, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Typhon is focusing on Farron as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to speak to Joe Orbick once he gets his headset on.
Hey!
Roll a Constitution saving throw for me, guy.
I don't want to.
Sorry.
You're just going to wind up barfing. It's all right.
Okay, so you actually watch as Typhon just starts hurling all over the place, and you kind of look at him like confused as you enter your body back at the ritual site. Then you see Shadow and everyone else just start throwing up as they're awakened from this weird ritual dream. You can see Farron in the center of the circle as he was positioned, and there's a strange glowing glyph on his forehead, and he's kind of drooling out the sides of his mouth. You can also see the inert frame and automaton shape of Celia behind Shadow.
But everybody's starting to become conscious.
Correct.
Yeah. I want to try to touch Farron, try to shake him.
Yep, you see Typhon walk over and slap him. Doesn't do anything. You shake him, nothing happens. And it looks like Shadow's saying we should secure him, put him somewhere.
Okay. I can grab him, throw him up over my shoulder.
Oh yeah, he's pretty big, but you're muscles.
We need to get him that ring of mind shielding.
Okay.
We need to get him hooked up with that ring, and we need to... Does it require attunement?
It does.
Is there any way we can attune it to him while he's sort of incapacitated for an hour?
He has to be awake to attune to it.
Okay, shit.
And he has to be willing to attune to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might not want to.
Yeah. I don't have enough spell slots to cast command for an hour.
Pretty sneaky to get the most good-hearted character and corrupt him.
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be someone here who can help us.
No, that's exactly what we were just trying to do.
Is he
but
muttering?
I mean, sure, people weren't willing to go in there with us, but surely someone's can help Farron. Or
Hey,
knows
Isn't
what the hell's
the
going on.
Kuatoa a cleric as well?
Nunsa. Yeah, Nunsa's a cleric.
Maybe Nunsa and Stenin together can do something?
Is Stenin and everyone going to seek Nunsa?
I think that sounds like a good plan.
Okay. You find him. He goes, what? You want what? Oh, okay. And he kind of just fish walks after you guys as you guys lead him on to where you're headed. And he kind of looks at him and goes, oh, he's marked. I warned you about this. Well, I warned your friends. I told them. The entity can see through the marked ones. You'll have to remove it.
How do we remove
How?
them?
How do we remove it?
It's kind of a curse.
Okay. Oh, damn it. That doesn't cure curses.
Have you removed these kind of curses before?
No, not me.
Damn it.
Do you know who can do it?
A priest? A good priest. I'm not.
No, we need remove curse.
I'm not very good at priesting. Eh,
Okay, let's try Malurial.
she
Tell
kind of,
her what Nunsa told us, and then we tell her.
Wait,
hey,
before we leave, do you know if we can tell if anyone else in the camp is marked like Farron? How would we know?
he kind of just looks at you with his hands out wide, and he says, "Only when this entity reveals the curse do you know." And also, don't you have a priest right there? And points at Stenin.
Yeah, it would take me some time. I could do it in 8 hours?
Yeah, well, you just
Right.
completed a long rest, so you could pray now and prepare your spells.
And then I cast remove curse.
Yeah, so you take some time watching Stenin pray to Aelith, and after a fashion, he does kind of walk over and cast his spell on Farron, removing the curse.
How about
High
that?
fives him.
All right, let's do it again, you guys.
He
On the
passes.
top.
He passes out though, and Nunsa kind of looks at you all and says, "What did you think you were going to do?"
Win lots of riches.
Yeah. Kind of the shadow
Let's leave
lowers
her
his
that we're
head.
not.
We'll be heroes, I guess.
We know where he lives. If you wish to find him,
We're not ready for that fight yet.
the entity is very powerful. He has many minions in this place. Very scary beings.
Not as scary as us.
Well, out of character, I think I just proved that
Not true.
what you said is stupid.
Not even true at all.
Well, maybe he himself. But
Fair. You guys kind of like sit there for a while as you just wait with Farron as he lays there unconscious. And someone walks into the tent and kind of looks at you. It looks like she's kind of walking into the tent from just like the side position. Basically, this tent that you guys have taken up residence in is also where you keep the treasury, like, just the party loot, because it's the best place you could find to kind of set aside. But the person who kind of walks in from that the treasure section is a drow girl. And she appears to
Oh
be
my
wearing
god!
elven
Holy
chain,
shit!
a green cloak, white hair, and red eyes. And she looks at you and she says, "Did he die?"
No. Farron, he's not dead.
We've
He's
managed to
resting.
remove his mark.
Yes, but understand this. He's still susceptible. He's still very much susceptible to
We
the
need to
mark.
get him that ring.
You can try to block it. You can try to stunt it. But I assure you, everyone in this camp is vulnerable. Just like my
Well, now we know.
enclave. Just like all of the drow that have lived beyond. And as she says that, you see her form just start to fade away. And it seems to just trace back into the treasure room.
We follow it.
Okay. Yeah, you see her spirit kind of linger around that really expensive diamond.
I'm gonna stick around Farron.
Okay. So wait, it's just hanging out by the diamond.
It goes into it. The diamond's
Okay.
color kind of changes to a purplish color, similar to your dwarf stone.
I pick it up.
Okay. Do you attune with it?
Did I have to attune with the dwarf stone?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait, no.
how that worked.
No, you didn't. So no.
Okay, so yeah, I pick it up. What does it do?
You can
Does
hear
it do the same thing that the dwarf stone did?
you can hear her voice, and she says, "Give me to Uru."
Okay, yeah, he does that.
Okay. And that is a short session, but everything I ever wanted. You made it farther than I thought you would. I didn't think you were going to make it.
Right, us.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to make it past the first 2 sections. I didn't think you were going to make it past the fiery wave. But
Yeah, Typhon just like flexed his nuts and busted right out of there.
yeah, I didn't think. My main thing was I didn't think that someone was going to get out initially on their own, and that kind of gave you a bit of an insight outside. The DC was 18.
Damn.
Yeah, just a heads up on what the Aboleth save DC is, by the way. Anywho, good times. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the stream.
Yeah, that's a good session.
Pretty short